Hello and welcome to Be Rated, this segment of our show that reviews the best of the worst in cinema. I'm your host, Paige Jennings. This week's hot seat is home to none other than Mad Kiwi Films' Killer Sofa. This movie just brings up so many questions, the first being, why? This movie was produced in New Zealand and had a budget of $1 million. So why? It's not even a sofa. When a killer lazy boy chair falls in love with a girl, it's up to a disgraced Jewish rabbi and a couple of broken-hearted detectives to figure out how to stop the bloody carnage that will follow. Nobody asked for this. Viewers on Amazon Prime gave Killer Sofa a 3.6 out of 5 stars. But it deserves 2. Going into this, I knew this was going to be bad. I just didn't know how bad it would actually be. And after watching it, I just have one question.
What the actually happened?
This movie was confusing from beginning to end. There were barely any explanations for anything that happened, and the explanations we did get brought up more questions than answers. The acting was not great. It wasn't even bad script writing. It was just the lackluster performance that the actors gave. Not to mention, it felt like none of the characters were real. They all had one defining factor, and that was their only driving emotion. Francesca has boy trouble. Maxie is the best friend. Granddad is the wise old man. Gravy is splitting up with his wife. Grape has a crush on Gravy. The possessed chair has a bleeding heart for Francesca, but she'll never understand how he feels about her, and even though his actions are evil, his intentions are pure because he just wants to protect Francesca from a man who wants to use her. The plot is simple when you put it on paper, but then they dive deeper into why things are the way they are. And that's where things get confusing. I'm not even kidding when I say that I'm still confused as to what happened. The movie is over, and I have more questions than answers. Pushing all of that aside, the only redeemable quality about this movie was the sound design. To my surprise, the score for this movie was actually really impressive, and while it didn't always fit the scene, it was still really good. And now it's time to take a closer look at this week's B-movie monster, the Killer Sofa himself. Which is still not even a sofa! The face on the sofa never really changes like you'd expect a person to convey emotions. Instead, they just show the chair from a different angle, which actually works pretty well. Whenever the chair had to move, it would usually be someone standing off screen holding it in place, which was pretty funny, but it would mostly move whenever the camera wasn't on it. But then it had to have a mouth, which it used to play a game of vent walkie-talkie and blow out her matches. And then it stands up on its own. How is that thing balancing itself? That footrest is like 6 inches thick. This is one of the weirdest movie monsters I've ever seen. So if I could describe this movie in one word, it would be confusing. The plot kept throwing curveballs left and right, leaving me confused, mentally drained, and scared to sit on my couch. So when should you watch this? Well, if you like confusing lore, possessed furniture, terrible acting, and New Zealand accents, then this is the movie for you! You can watch it on your own with your conspiracy buddies. This has been my review of Killer Sofa. Tune in to Nerd Central for next week's episode of B Rated, where we review Spaghetti Man. Thanks for watching.